This is a formal response to a guy by the name of Hatman. Um, I just subscribed to his channel, checked him out as far as the subject matter of Jared Genesis. At least I knew him as Jared Genesis. Originally, when I first met Jared, it was really based on brother Jared. And I hate to say this, but I have to agree with the other side of YouTube. They do constructive criticism. Some of it, I will say, and this is my opinion, out of all due respect, that it can be a little crude. But, nonetheless, unlike this small group, which I will not name, which is over a dozen people that deliver pizzas to people's houses, that takes their time to make a channel dedicated to Jared Genesis in a way that they're trying to deliberately bother him, playing games with him, pranking him, instead of just doing constructive criticism on a day-by-day basis of what's going on and the updates regarding the people that you're looking at. You would rather try to cause trouble, some of you, and that's why I refused to hang out with that one group. People like Hatman and other folks, and I hate to say it, the EFAP group, and other people that Jared had dealt with among this YouTube mass of people, basically are folks that are just doing criticism. They're not provoking anybody to do that fucked up stuff that's been happening on Jared's account. And personally, I experienced some of the similar things that happened. I had pizzas delivered to my door where way before they came, I actually called the cops because those pizzas, I had actually received a notification on the email address that I've used and once had, that saying that you got a delivery coming your way. And I'm like, what? And they got mad, this small group, because I had recorded a live stream of my visit with the police, or them visiting me, I should say, and one of them has threatened me. It's one thing you threaten me, but if you say I'm going to take action with you and your mother, my mother has nothing to do with this. My mother's not part of PISS 4400, never was. And I took that very personal. But getting back to my response regarding people like Hatman and some other people, I agree 100% that the best people that I block are the folks that really done stuff. Not in a way that they say things to hurt me, not in a way that they just say stuff for the fucking hell of it, but in a way that they actually doing stuff to deliberately going out of their way to hurt people or destroy people's lives. Those are the kind of people I'm after. And people like Christian Thurston and people, others alike, that there's so many names I know of, and they may not even be real names, but I know them by user IDs that I can't think of. There's even a Facebook group dedicated to people like Jared. Anything else in the mass media, if you see any other videos that are regarding Jared in the main masses of YouTube for the first time ever, within the 2 years I've actually seen and kind of watched over Jared, if people made anything for Jared. It's usually playlists of videos mixed between videos that Jared has done or things that Jared has says that people took parts of and kind of added as far as the facts about what Jared says as far as newsworthy events. And or they'll mix somebody like Hatman and some other people as far as videos that people have did reviews on, commentary, criticism, legit criticism. Some of that criticism, even though it's legit, I don't agree with. And on most of it I do, because it is the same similar criticism that I've had produced on my own trip, my own channel. But I will say the behavior conduct with these people are a lot better than the little group that not only runs a place based on Gorgeous George, which is somebody totally different that I know about that some of you may not know, but it's the same group that runs a thing mainly for Jared Genesis as far as the current events that's been going on. And they do nothing but try to start trouble. That's not how I do. I don't try to start trouble for people. I don't try to do things that are over the line of criticism, newsworthy events, that are over any of that stuff whatsoever. If I make a mistake, I apologize for it. And there's some people within that group that I had made mistakes on, and no matter how much I said I was sorry, they still had the behavior that they had, and that's not a good attitude. There's one character in particular, I won't mention his name, but he did a video about another character named Gorgeous George. He had two accounts as far as I know. He had one account that said Rice Krispies or Captain Krispies, and then another one called Captain Corpulence. And there was a mistake I made by addressing him by his name, and I just did it out of, I guess, as an individual. And he took it as if that I tried to dox his name. No matter what I say to the guy, he could not get the fact that I was trying to be a human being to him. So then he, long story short, he acted funny, and you know, and just his attitude towards it, I didn't care for. I mean, he actually told me the name that I addressed him as was actually fake. But the thing is, I've learned a lesson on my part that it's not good to even address people as human beings as you normally do in the real world. It's not good to address them by their names on the internet. He still thinks to this day that I doing it to try to get George to find out anything. Gorgeous George was the one that discovered in the comment section. So, and George even explained in this video that he discovered it. I didn't tell him nothing. I don't talk to George. The most I've asked George about is that, and this is just a clarification for the sake of Jared Genesis, that really thinks that Gorgeous George is his friend, that really thinks that Gorgeous George is somebody that does whatever. So I said to him, "Hey George," and I just put a facade on. I said, "Hey George, you condone pedophilia? Because I see you talking to a pedophile in Kingwood, Texas." Not that I really looked at Jared as a pedophile completely, but for the sake of the conversation, I wanted to see what George says. Well, since then I haven't got no response. I don't care too much, but the idea of that was to clarify, one, that I had never talked with Jared as far as getting that response from George, because I am working on an actual project, and one of the videos I did last night that's towards that is figuring out how to censor people, and the trouble I've had to figuring that out without having to pay some buku money, but I guess that's the only way to do it. I already got softwares in my room. I don't even know. I'm just afraid if I install them, I'm going to end up with something that's not going to be to my liking. But I'm going to try my best. And but getting back to the point of this video, if half of you so-called goons / Jarrett Brigade were anywhere like some parts of the YouTube masses that just mostly criticize the things that Jarrett's done, instead of just doing stuff on your own to damage other people's lives, and you even went as far as going over doing stuff over Jarrett's family's expense. If you guys wouldn't like the way you are, and I'm talking to all you, I would join your group. Of course, that's just, I'm just speaking as far as the Jarrett side. But I know that there are some parts of that one group that wouldn't want nothing to do with a 10-foot pole. Because when I joined them on a Facebook group that they run called Gorgeous George Show Fan Base, they treat me any kind of way. Knew very well that I respond to things differently than most other people. And I actually left that group. This was not based on Jared. This was based on someone else at that time. So, again, I would give more credit to people like Hatman and what was this woman's name? Lady something. That any of you people deserve. Because, believe it or not, y'all are some shitty people. But I have some respect for people that have constructive criticisms regarding Jared, even whether if I agree with them or don't, either way. So, to this Hatman guy, and to these other people that have responded to me, like Mr. G, thank you for your kind responses to me. You people actually conduct yourselves better than this small group. This small group, only thing they do is just look for ways that they can just start stuff. And everything that they say as an excuse is in the name of truth, in the name of everything. But, you know, yesterday, when I was streaming, or I wasn't say streaming, when I did a video, one of the members of this group tried to say that I harassed them. And that was not true. He actually harassed me. And though he had since apologized to me last night, and I didn't even expect no apology from him. I want to read his comment to show exactly what I'm talking about and the kind of people that this small group represents. If I can find it. And then I'm going to go, basically. So I appreciate the kind responses from people. And, you know, I don't agree with this group to just go and tell people not to be friends with somebody because of something that they find out about them. That's over the line of constructive criticism. That's just trying to destroy people's lives, ruining people's successes, interfering, being asunder all in all, completely, I'm not sure if I'm using the right words, forgive me. If at best, it's my catchphrase. If at best. If at best. I'm reading this guy, 2Liter J, under the comment that he left. I'm not going to look at the fucking video because obviously I've made it, but we're going to look at this, and this is an example of what I'm talking about and what I've tried to say about this small group that I trusted for about 4 or 5 years and never thought that I would find out the truth about them. And this is what 2Liter J says. He says, "Hey, Jeremy, it's me, Jay. I want to say I'm done messing with. I shut down these channels. I was childish, bro, but I'm done, my man. I hope you can let bygones be bygones." And I've had. I told him that I'm just not going to read the whole thing, but I said that if you agree to let bygones be bygones, and completely leave me alone, I will move on. I have no interest in people like you. I will pray for people like you, but I don't have no interest. So, as you say, let bygones be bygones. And the speech notes thing suggested that bygone be together, which is separated. How the way he typed it, I was robbed of certain things as far as stuff I should have learned, so excuse me for that grammar. I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. I just figured I'd give credit when credit is due as far as facts.